Is it now? Take it back.
Yes, we are back again. Season 2, Episode 4 of Faction 919, your all things wrestling podcast. As always, joined by the best of them in the wrestling podcast world. C. Rich, Fannmann, myself, Surfer J, JB, and Darren Stone. I don't know. A little different.
I don't know about that guy today. He's a bit off.
Off he is. Darren Stone feeling a little under the weather today, but he's got one big interview coming later in the show. So
a very wise interview.
Very wise interview from a very wise man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Teasing it good. I like it. You want to stick around for the end of this one.
Yes,
right?
You will.
Big time.
Absolutely.
Our biggest guest yet. I'll say that. So, and C. Rich is also going to have something for us today. JB and Surfer J hanging around. Darren Stone, we miss you, my friend. So next week after next, we'll see you. So a lot of things have happened. The biggest thing that happened as recording of this, WWE's Elimination Chamber, one of the big ones, one of the pay-per-views between the Rumble and the big WrestleMania Elimination Chamber. So now leading up to the Elimination Chamber, we had the big storyline, which is always the main event of WrestleMania. And the tribal chief himself is still reigns supreme. Roman reigns supreme. And Sami Zayn took on the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, in the Elimination Chamber, the main event, in his hometown of Montreal. Montreal filled with a lot of Canadian superheroes there, including UFC fighter Georges St. Pierre. So if you're a UFC fan, big guy in the crowd there, Hall of Famer. And man, was that crowd into it for Sammy. Were we all, even everywhere, the whole world was into it. And when you have a good crowd like that behind a guy like that, man, you really want to see him take it home. So, but like I was saying, leading up to this, uh, a lot of promos coming from a lot of different guys. We saw Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn together. Pretty much Cody Rhodes helping him get his confidence before he took it on. Now, what do you guys think? Because first we saw Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman the week before that uh, uh, put promos on each other. Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and then Sami Zayn and Paul Heyman. Those three guys all going at it. And so promo wise, and the build up to this pay per view, and even the build up to WrestleMania, what are you guys thinking of some mic work of these guys?
Well, I think this has been about the best lead into WrestleMania that I've seen in a long time. And the promo between Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman was spectacular. I mean,
Yes.
you can tell when they are talking true, you know, and you can tell when they pull it back and bring it back to show.
Right.
And I thought those two put on probably the best promo I had seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
And the Sami Zayn one between him and Cody was great as well. And I I think this is going to be probably one of the WrestleManias to remember.
I agree. Thoughts, my friends. Surfer J and JB.
Yeah, I mean, this is a main event storyline that everyone cares about,
Mm.
and everyone is here to see. And you got Paul Heyman, who's one of the best of all time, and Cody and Sammy are right there too. So I mean, I have to agree with C. Rich. This is going to be a heck of a main event of WrestleMania. I mean, WrestleMania is going to be good, but I'm really excited to see what happens with Roman and Zayn and Cody.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the packages to start coming out for like the pre-match packages. I think this one's gonna be one of the better ones. It's gonna be up there with like Daniel Bryan's Monster. I'm wondering what they're gonna use for that, and it's gonna be really great, just back and forth, back and forth. But that was just great, just a great lead up. I mean, the crowd was like near Chicago CM Punk level, if not even more. Just
Good point.
insanity. Just that was just great. I mean, I am a fan of that kind of weird thing, so it's just that was for me the best.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait. I was not a fan. Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes should not happen. This is all horrible.
Spoken like a true heel. So, and leading up to it, the Elimination Chamber, which is what happened last night. And so let's talk about it a little bit. So first we saw in the women's Elimination Chamber match, winner of this goes on to Mania as well, taking on Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. Asuka, Carmella, Miss Rodriguez, Raquel Rodriguez, Nikki Cross, Liv Morgan, and Natalia. And on top of that, we saw Asuka come out, the winner. And we got this new Asuka. We got this in Japan. This was her look there. I guess the heel version of Asuka. What was the right decision made here? Do you think Asuka was the one to win it and give Bianca Belair the WrestleMania match that we all look forward to?
I'm gonna go a little heel on this. I don't. That match felt like a cavalcade of who's not gonna win, except for Asuka. It was just like, oh yeah, Asuka's gonna win this. I mean,
Yeah.
Raquel Gonzalez would have been great, but you knew she wasn't gonna win it. Liv Morgan already had a chance. She's not going to win it. Natalia, no. I mean, she's had her tons of options. And it was just like constantly just like, it's going to be Asuka. So, I mean, it was a good match, but a very predictable ending.
Yeah. I agree. I didn't see anyone else but Asuka, especially with her big change and going to this new look of hers and everything.
They did a good job of getting Carmella over as a heel, though.
Sure.
Teasing,
Yeah.
she kept going into the different pods and running away. I really did a good job of getting her over, even though she didn't win.
Carmella was robbed. That's all I'm saying. That should have been Carmella.
Yeah, I can definitely see her having a good storyline down the road, but gotta give her someone to work with. We saw the Battle of the Behemoths. Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar. Now the ending of this was kind of controversial. We saw basically it ended with Brock Lesnar low blow. Referee rings the bell, disqualification. So Bobby Lashley ended up winning. Is there an end to this? Is that it? Do we see this going on the Mania?
My question is, after watching these two humongoloids go at it, are people getting tired of watching these two?
It's a good question. What do you guys think?
I do enjoy two big beefy men hitting each other. That's always an enjoyment. I just wish they need one more match. I thought this should have been the match to end it.
Yeah.
Finalized. We're done. We've had 3 matches. Let's move forward. Instead, it's like, oh, nuts. And now we're going to have to do another match with Bray Wyatt thrown in at WrestleMania. Yeah. It just felt like a lot of this pay-per-view just felt like, okay, we did things. Now we're going to have to figure out other things. Let's go.
If you think about it, Bray Wyatt had such the following or whatever coming into this. He was off for a while, then he came back, and everybody went crazy. If he's going to be involved with this Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar thing, doesn't that kind of dilute him a little bit? Anybody?
Thoughts?
I can see that. Yeah, but again, maybe they're thinking that by him just being next to Lesnar and Lashley as top draws, that it'll elevate him.
Okay, I don't want this comment to be directed as mine for future reference, so I'm going to do this. What if they decided to actually force Bobby and Brock to tag against Uncle Howdy and Bray? They need both of them. They need all 4 at WrestleMania. They've already started to address this. So, could this be the way to go? Again, this is Darren Stone speaking.
Hey, it's true. That is a possible thing there, because why get Uncle Howdy involved at all, and why put him in the ring? And so we saw the contact there that they got in there and actually, did a spot and stuff. So yeah, we could see Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt tag team against Lesnar and Lashley. So it was very interesting to see where it goes for sure. So
it seemed like this was the first time in a while that Lesnar couldn't just suplex. He actually had to struggle with Lashley, and they actually had to go outside the ring a little bit, come back in, and actually have a wrestling match for a while.
Yeah, that's true. So, who's getting, if Bray Wyatt does get involved with all said party, who's getting over who? Is Lesnar? Are they just two two dance partners that have great matches? Is Lesnar trying to up Bray? Is Bray trying to up Lesnar?
Shenanigans.
That is correct. And speaking of some shenanigans, we saw husband and wife getting the ring together. Edge and Beth Phoenix against Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Now, did they? I was real protective while watching this. I was very protective of Rhea Ripley. I didn't want to get her to lose her steam on the way to WrestleMania in this match. Every big move that happened, I was like, oh, I don't want to see it. I want her to be dominant on the way into Mania. So I was very afraid of her getting pinned for a while there. I was like, man, if they pin her, that's gonna just kill her. And she didn't get pinned, but she ended up on a losing team, but not got pinned. I don't know. What do you guys think of that booking decision there?
I don't think it's going to matter much, because I think the idea, she's taking on Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
And I think that sells itself. And I don't think
Sure.
she could lose steam at this point. And with all the things that she's done, and as over as she is in a heel sort of way.
Right.
But no, I don't think she loses anything with this.
No, and she was taking on the Glamazon, the lady who hit her head in a Royal Rumble and then bled for like 20 minutes.
That's true.
So she's one of the females where it's like, if she loses to a part-timer, that wouldn't have been that bad. But I think they're still continuing on Finn and Edge's storyline. But I do enjoy seeing them hit each other.
Yeah. Surfer Jay, you were able to make it for this show. I'm glad you flew back from Elimination Chamber after tagging with Rhea Ripley. So we always say Surfer
Yeah.
J looks like Finn Balor. So
Well, what can I say? But yeah, I mean, I think typically you would say Rhea needs to be as strong as possible and not lose heading to WrestleMania, but it seemed to me like this was something to give Montreal a good match, give them something to cheer about. You know, the good guys won, and we'll live to fight another day with Rhea, and we still got time to save her for Mania and save the build up.
Darren Stone.
All I have to say is I can take mommy out. She's nothing compared to me. This is Darren Stone speaking.
All right, and in the men's elimination chamber for the United States belt, Austin Theory, they put it all out there for him to take on Montez Ford, Bronson Reed, Gargano, and Damian Priest and Seth Rollins. Someone else got involved in that match. One of the Paul brothers. And damn it, hate to say it, I like the guy. Guy can go in here and do things, and it looks like we're going to see. Well, first off, Austin Theory retained. He ended up winning after that interference with Logan Paul, and it looks like the rumors may be true. I don't want to take away from a guy who digs in the dirt around here, but could we see? We'll answer that. We'll answer that question later. Could it be Rollins, Logan Paul at Mania? Maybe JB will have more on that. So, but thoughts on the match altogether? Austin Theory retains and his Mania opponent. Well, actually, one more thing. In a private press conference after the pay-per-view, Edge already had accepted an open challenge that Austin Theory put out there. He's going to go after the belt on Monday Night Raw. So now Monday we're going to see Edge and Theory. After that, probably won't see changing of the title there. I don't think so. And Austin Theory at Mania. So, but anyway, thoughts on the match, gentlemen.
I thought it was a great match. I thought it seemed like the majority of the match reason was just to get over Montez Ford. And it seems like they're maybe going to push him to the next level because they let him get so much stuff in and let him do all the coolest spots that you're going to remember from this. But then
going all Spider-Man from the top of the cage.
Yeah, but then it was like, all right, so Austin still wins. Rollins is going to do something else, and then they do like an injury deal with Montez. So that kind of confused me a little bit, actually.
Was he hurt, or was that just we're all thinking part of the show? Because it was funny because I was kind of working last night, and I had a coworker. He's kind of on the outer edge of wrestling. And he was just like, wait, I don't see them throwing the X up or anything. I mean, I'm like, oh, I don't know if they do that anymore that much, but I couldn't. It felt real enough where it was like, is he actually hurt or not? So
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think he's actually hurt, or was that just part of the show?
It seemed to me like that was the way to get the cage door open to get the Paul brother in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. So what do you see for Austin Theory in the future? Well, actually,
Well, I may have something about that.
okay.
We'll
Yeah,
talk about that, but,
we'll save that one. So
I just want to kind of address the Logan Paul thing, which is again,
go ahead,
I was
sir.
thinking one of my favorite movies is a movie called High Fidelity, and Jack Black is in it, and they're listening to this music, and it's about basically a bunch of guys in a music store. He's sitting there just like rubbing his head, and they're listening to this music, and they're like, "What is this? Oh, this is the weird little skater kids from outside. Oh, I hate it. It is so good. That's Logan Paul right now. It's like, oh, I hate it, but he's so good at it. Why? No. All right, fine. You're
Right.
good at it.
My thoughts exactly. So
Well, the Rollins match ought to be great at Wrestle. If that's what they're leading toward, Rollins and Paul, that should be a great match.
yeah, we'll see. I think JB may have more on that later, but leading to the main event of last night. I'll go back here to open discussion. 5 shot of everyone here. So, the main event in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, the home of Sami Zayn, the challenger. It was Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn. And boy, was that crowd to the point where even Roman Reigns, the champion, came out first, and that was pretty good booking there. And then Sami Zayn came out the heat second. They knew that crowd was going to go absolutely crazy for him. So, and in the end, Roman Reigns still standing up tall. What do you think? Well, let me ask you this. I thought of this. Did the WWE or Triple H or all the guys who make this decision, they didn't shoot themselves in the foot? Do you think they shot themselves in the foot? Is this another Daniel Bryan where they didn't give it to the guy right away? Do you think they by not giving it to Sammy last night and setting up Sammy and Cody, did it kill anything? Or do you think it's okay? I'm just playing devil's advocate there. That's not exactly my feelings. Maybe Darren Stone's feelings. But it was it a mistake? Basically my question is, was it a mistake not to give it to Sammy last night?
No. No, because in my opinion, just my opinion, JB and I have talked about this a little bit, and we kind of have a difference of opinion here, but I think the idea of a one-on-one match between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania is to me is total money. And it's in Los Angeles. It's going to be a big deal. And I think what you want is a one-on-one situation there, not necessarily a three-way, because I think a three-way dilutes the intensity a little bit of that match.
Right.
But I don't think they made a mistake by not putting it on Sami Zayn. And I mean, there's no reason to think that he might not get it, down the road a ways or whatever the case may be. Or, I mean, I think the future is very bright for Sami Zayn.
Very true. JB.
With that loss, I was the one who was wanting the three-way for at WrestleMania. I know it's always better with just two dudes, but that, I don't know. I'm afraid that it's a different era. I got to remember that it's not the same era. We've been so conditioned to, this would be the time Sammy gets shuffled and forgotten and pushed away.
Right.
And it's over. So I'm hoping Triple H won't do that. And I just thought of this while we were talking. I would hope that Sammy is the first opponent after WrestleMania if Cody wins. They had that segment on Raw. It's like, I don't want to see you until WrestleMania. Maybe this is where he comes out afterwards, or maybe he shows up during the match in WrestleMania and something happens and that leads to this. I mean, Sammy has just been so hot, and it's just, I just don't want if he goes away for a month, it's going to hurt him.
Yeah.
Now, does that hurt the company? No, but it hurts one of the talent. And so that's just what I think my biggest fear.
Jay Surfer.
I mean, I think this storyline is so hot that there's ways to get Zayn back over at another time.
Yeah.
And the crowd still loves Zayn. They did a good job at the end, kind of tying this together with Owens and everything. But I think the whole storyline is so hot that they'll be fine if they didn't put it on them right, last night. And honestly, I didn't think I'm just WWE logic in me was thinking Reigns is going to be the champion going into Mania. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to switch any titles unless it's at Mania. But the match was just incredible. I mean, the first 10 minutes of it, they barely even touched each other. And the crowd was going crazy. I mean, less is more. And they showed it last night. When you have a storyline that is that hot, you don't have to go in there and just start swinging and calling spots and throwing people outside. You could just walk around and just milk it.
I, as Darren Stone, do not feel that Sami Zayn is worthy of stepping into the ring with Roman Reigns. I, Darren Stone, am behind the tribal chief 100%. That is all. No Cody, no Sami, no one. Tribal chief and his council forever. God, Darren, come on.
Very good. Yeah, so many doors, so many things can happen. Like you guys say, it's so hot. I believe they can still, just about every door they walk through is going to have a good ending. So, of course, there's ways to maybe kill it off some, but yeah, I'm excited. No matter what happens, it's so good. Very, very exciting to see what's going to happen here.
And now you got to figure out what's
Yeah.
going on with the Usos.
That's true.
Yeah.
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 That
Yeah.
could Zayn could go back with them, and that's a whole nother layer to this big puzzle they're putting together.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. So many doorways to open, and so much good storytelling to be told here soon. So, and that's it for the Elimination Chamber there. So, take a quick break. Hey, we're going to talk to you about another show. Oh, you got something? See, Rich?
Yeah, well, you gotta keep in mind tonight is the night of the wise man. And of course, he's talking to Darren, but he's still the wise man. And it's going to be an enlightening night for all of us.
Yes, it is. I have taught Paul Heyman everything I know for the Tribal Chief. Since our interview, he has taken what I have given him to the new levels for the Tribal Chief.
Yes, sir. Because that DNA that runs through the family of the Samoans of Roman Reigns, it's top notch.
It also runs through me as well. Darren Stone, referee, manager extraordinaire. This interview is one of the greatest interviews you will ever see of all time.
I would agree. Speaking of DNA, the DNA show, the Diane Anthony show, also representing the Carolina Panthers podcast, another podcast you can listen to, and also some coming up events on the independent circuit in your area. We want to take a look at those. Be right back.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, this is Donnie.
And I'm Anthony.
Hey, look, you want a place to go for all your cardiac cast info?
Then we got just a show for you.
This is the Donnie and Anthony Show.
And all Carolina Panthers podcast. For all your Carolina Panthers info, the Donnie and Anthony Show, the DNA Show, because the black and blue runs through our DNA.
Keep pounding.
Sunday, March 26th, Catawba Valley Community College, Hickory, North Carolina. AML Wrestling presents the Red Hawk Rumble. The top stars of AML will be there in addition to the AEW superstars, The Guns. Saturday, March 25th, West Davidson High School, Lexington, North Carolina. AML Wrestling presents Monsters Unleashed. Come see the top stars of AML Wrestling at this Special Olympics fundraiser. Saturday, March 25th, Chestnut Grove Middle School, King, North Carolina. Freestyle Championship Wrestling presents Wrestle War. Doors open at 6:30, bell time 7 o'clock. Sunday, March 19th, Southside Rec Center, High Point, North Carolina. Revolution Wrestling Authority presents Night of Champions 2023, a live television taping. Friday, March 3rd, Thomasville Middle School, Thomasville, North Carolina. It's the Chair City Clash 10. C.W. Anderson, Mad Max, Rob Boogie Woogie McBride, Big Money Incorporated, the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws, Lewis Moore and Matt Houston, and more. Saturday, February 25th, Benton Convention Center, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. AML Wrestling presents Rise to the Top in a scaffold match for the AML Wrestling Heavyweight title. White Mike defends against Brad Attitude. Also, the Beer City Bruiser faces Billy Brash. And a special appearance by WWE Hall of Famer Sergeant Slaughter. Friday, February 24th, AML Pro Wrestling Training Center, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Title match presents Ladies Night Out Triple Shot. NWA Women's Tag Team Champions Pretty Empowered, Ella Envy, and Kenzie Page, plus others in action. There's great wrestling action all across the region. You won't want to miss it. Be there!
And on the independent circuit, there is some stuff here locally that you can go see. Now, see, Rich, you got a question of your own. You're trying to advocate for something here. Tell us what it's all about.
Well, last night was a very, very good night for the city of Raleigh. I mean, we showed, well, as a city, we showed that we can really step it up a notch when we want to. The big hockey game that was outside between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Washington Capitals had a tremendous amount of people, had a tremendous amount of just promos leading into it, and it's something that this city has been talking about for weeks, and it came off last night pretty darn well, and it kind of got me thinking, and I think you'll kind of be kind of questioning what I'm questioning after you see this. Last night, the Carolina Hurricanes hosted the Washington Capitals in the Outdoor Stadium Series Classic at Carter Finley Stadium. The attendance was said to be about 57,000 people from all over the country at an outdoor event in February where the temperatures were in the high 30s. The event was supported by the city as the Fan Fest was held in downtown Raleigh, and despite the torrential rains on Friday, huge numbers of people came out for the event and the fireworks that night. So I asked the question, why not Raleigh for a future WrestleMania? So if WrestleMania came to Raleigh, let's take a look at possible venues. PNC Arena's capacity for basketball is nearly 20,000. Carter Finley Stadium for football is over 57,000. Dorton Arena has historic value for Hall of Fame ceremonies. The NC Fairgrounds has space to host FanFest events and bring in bands to play. Last year's 11-day state fair drew over 960,000 people. That's roughly 87,000 people per day. There are great hotels all over the city, so why not Raleigh for a future WrestleMania? And by the way, the Canes beat the Capitals last night 4-1.
And Raleigh, the place to be.
Yeah, last night was fantastic. Almost 57,000 people in Carter Finley Stadium to see a hockey game. They came from all over. I personally know somebody who came from Austin, Texas with his son, flew out here Thursday, and, I'm flying back today. But, I mean, it was really something for hockey fans from all over the area, not just all over the area, but from all over the country and from Canada. So I don't see why something like that couldn't happen for WrestleMania here. You look at the Fan Fest. You can hold that Fan Fest at the state fairgrounds.
Right.
You could hold the Hall, like I said in the package, you can hold the Hall of Fame, inductees at historic Dorton Arena. I mean, where a lot of things took place in professional wrestling. So, I mean, it's something I think people should think about and maybe talk about a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, Darren Stone, what do you think? Would you go to that Mania?
I think that is a horrible idea. Raleigh, you don't deserve WrestleMania right now. You just had a hockey game, and that is all. I am heel Darren Stone.
But you did mention Carter Finley Stadium, PNC Arena, the State Fairgrounds, the historic Dorton Arena, and just like with a Mania 3, where they shot it in different places all at once. Hey, something like that could happen again. I'm all for it. And
yeah, but I mean, yeah, that last night it was just really great. I mean, just the fact that it had so much energy, I think it really shocked the NHL about how intense it is, because I have friends who were there and they were like, yeah, they were talking about the Boston game, how it was, the audience was, or the crowd was pretty much dead for the Boston game last year, but for this one, it was just insane, just crazy. Everyone's cheering. I mean, like, the Capitals came out on the ice and they're booing the Capitals. I mean, you can audibly hear it. So, I mean, just have a WrestleMania in Carter Finley. It could work. I mean,
yeah,
I don't ever see it really happening, because it's just, I don't think Raleigh's a quote unquote big enough market for them. But, I think it would, if it would happen, it would be a really good crowd energy for WrestleMania.
For sure. And if it were to happen, Faction 919 will be there. You can guarantee it. So,
Surfer Jay, what do you think? I'm curious.
What is your thoughts?
Yeah, it would be awesome if it did. I just don't see it happening. Just because, I mean, what market is Tampa? That was where they did it. Was it last year, 2 years ago?
Tampa is high 20s,
Okay,
low
so
teens. I mean, they're a little bit bigger than the Raleigh Durham market, but I mean,
yeah,
it does also feel larger, and they do have an NFL team where they used their stadium, and it was close to the Performance Center. I mean, I think they were going to use it the year before COVID, but still, I mean,
and it also started raining at the beginning of the show.
that is true. Yeah.
Could you
It'd
see
be
it
it'd be
happening in
it'd be
Charlotte?
interesting. At the Panther Stadium?
Yeah, Bank of America,
Hmm.
which is one of the bigger. I think they're
Un-
the top 10 of stadium size of how much it can be held.
Unfortunately, I could see them choosing Charlotte over Raleigh if it was down to the two. It's just seems like with a lot of sports issues, a lot of it is Charlotte is seen as bigger. The MLS team that just recently signed with Charlotte, they signed with Charlotte because they viewed it as a bigger city, even
Sure.
though Raleigh has a bigger fan base.
Yeah.
But they were just like, no, we're going to use Charlotte. There's more money there.
Right.
Well, and Charlotte has some sort of like a mass transit system, a little bit, at least around the stadium, where they can. It's some sort of light rail system where they can get people around that Raleigh just doesn't have yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially nothing near PNC. Like it's all cars. It's got to be driving.
Yeah. It may be, as of now, I believe Philly is our closest Mania hosting city.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I got it. WrestleMania sponsored by Uber. That's how it comes to Raleigh. Or Bird.
Or Bojangles. All right. We'll be there. Best chicken on the planet. Don't you forget it. Faction 919 says it. And speaking of Faction 919, you can find us on social media. You see it all down there at the bottom of your screen: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And also, we got to ask you the big question of the week.
It's time for the Faction 919 Big Question. The big question: what wrestling manager through the course of their career has had the greatest impact on professional wrestling? Send your answers to faction919nc@gmail.com. We'll take a look at the answers and compare them to our own on our next show.
All right, our question of the week there, dealing with managers, and we'll be dealing with another manager here soon. Wise man. So speaking of wise man, we got our own wise man, JB. You got some digging in the dirt. You got some predictions for April, that first weekend in April, of some matches at WrestleMania in Hollywood.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts?
All right. I first have to do this. This is getting hard to be able to do both at one time. So after this segment, I'll probably bring Darren Stone back. But yeah, no, it's been really interesting. A lot of some of the matches have been pretty much already set up. We know about Charlotte and Rhea. That's going to be one of the big ones. We now know Cody versus Roman. But as we've been saying, is it going to be Logan Paul versus the new Michael P.S. Hayes, Seth Rollins? So I've been wanting to, I can't remember if I've brought this up in the past, but is Seth Rollins channeling Michael P.S. Hayes with his hair and outfits? It is like mid-70s Michael P.S. Hayes to a T. The dirty chest hair and the blonde and with the roots and just the outfits. It is P.S. Hayes all the way with him. So you have that one. Let's take a look at everything I had pulled up over here. We've got, just Roman Reigns. We've heard about that one. Charlotte. We now know Asuka's going to be facing Bianca. So but what are they going to do with Becky and Lita? Is it going to be against Bayley and Io, or is Dakota going to get healthy enough, or how are they going to handle that one? That's been kind of an interesting one. then I mean, we've talked about it. What are they going to do with Brock Lesnar and Bobby and Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt? I mean, what do you guys think how they're going to handle this? I mean, the rumors are just saying, oh yeah, it's going to be some form of that, but everyone's just like kind of still confused. Because I don't know if there's been really good planning or there's not been really clear, but again, we're getting to closer and closer. But by now, it usually seems like we have more of these lineups set up, and we're just kind of like now fiddling and just kind of like keeping placeholders.
Yeah, that's true. How many weeks away are we from Mania? 1, 2,
About
3,
six.
4, 5, 6. 6 on the
6
dot.
weeks. I mean,
Pretty
we got
good.
like
yeah.
a 2-day WrestleMania to deal with, and we have like 7 matches official. Are they gonna? The other rumors have been Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn going against the Usos. That one, it just seems a little bit harder for me personally. It's just like, how are they gonna have Sami and Kevin go against the Usos when there's such a division within the Usos? There's been such a division between Kevin and Sami. Sure, he did save Kevin, but still, I mean, there's so much history there as well.
Yeah. Do you see anyone in your prediction? If not Sammy and Kevin, who do you see? Because of course, tag team belts have to be on Mania. Who do you see them maybe going after? You got some ideas?
I don't know. I've always liked Imperium. They've got to need to do something to them. I know another one of the rumors is that Gunter is going to be taking on Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. So, I mean, that's a tag team, Drew and Sheamus, that they could have used. That's going to be on a different storyline.
True.
I was trying to think of NXT. Could they bring up one of those factions that we saw from when we saw them? But I can't really think of any of those that would immediately come up. You do have the New Day, who's always sitting around, who could ignite a rivalry, because you could just plug them in against the Usos any day. And for me, I would watch it immediately, because those two teams are just banging it out all day, no matter what. Just give me another Elimination Chamber where they're like putting people's in corners with kendo sticks.
Right. Maybe even Faction 919 will show up at Mania and take on the Usos. for the
Maybe.
tag belts. Any two of us, Freebird rule. I like it.
Yeah. Any two of the 5. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be there. Yeah, you got to get Bray Wyatt involved in Howdy some way or another. Yeah, a lot of questions. Any other?
Everyone keeps talking about they're bringing. Sorry, I've been a little lapse in the memory. Did they have a Andre the Giant Battle Royal last year? I don't seem to remember.
Oh
one.
yeah.
Because there's been rumors they're going to bring that back. There might be a women's battle royal, but I mean, still, that's just not quite enough to fill an entire show, and it just doesn't seem like we have a lot of storylines. But it's just they're slowly building it up. We got to get. I think the 3-way possibly with Gunter, Sheamus, and Drew would be really good, but I just breaking Sheamus and Drew up again. Just after this, felt like they haven't been really together that long as partners and friends again, just to have them battle. It just seems a little off, but
Yeah.
It is WrestleMania season. Everyone's trying to get onto the show, so that could just be their way of getting that wonderful, wonderful WrestleMania paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Is this
true.
a two-night Mania this year too?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the thing. I keep looking over predictions, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's a ton of predictions. No, there's not. So there's like 6 solid ones, 2 or 3 that are probably going to happen, like the Logan Paul, Seth, and a couple others, and then it's just speculation all over the place. I mean, are they going to have Shayna and Ronda? Who are they going to battle at WrestleMania? Because they're going to have to be in there, because they've been pushing them a lot harder. And if Io's out, or if Dakota's out, and Io's going to be with Bailey against Lita and Becky, where does that put them?
Yeah. And who are the women's tag champs at the moment?
Io and
Sorry, yeah.
Dakota. So
Yeah.
they're going to have them involved, and so they're not going to be able to defend those titles, especially
Right.
if Dakota's still hurt.
Yeah. Either way, even the ones that we do know and that are likely to happen, damn good matches coming up this Mania in Hollywood.
Well, let me throw one minor thing I kind of read online. I kind of mentioned it to, I think, Anthony or the other day, that There's an AEW wrestler whose contract may be coming up very soon. There was some injuries involved, and there's rumors that they could try and pull the WWE. Well, you were on injury time, so we're going to extend it. But Kenny Omega's contract may be coming up fairly soon. And with everything that's been going on, does he stay? Does he go? Could he be a surprise somehow at WrestleMania? I don't think his contract's probably not done before then, but I mean, with everything that Tony Khan has been going through, I mean, does he want to lose somebody like Kenny Omega?
Yeah, for sure. Very interesting. And if not Mania, the next night on Raw, which is always the bigger show. Very good. Yeah, I gotta ask, Darren Stone, do you have predictions of any kind?
I predict new undisputed world heavyweight champion shall be Paul Heyman. Because I don't know if you've heard in an upcoming segment here tonight on Faction 919, I, Darren Stone, speak with the man himself, the founder of ECW, Paul E. Dangerously. He and I had a wonderful conversation. You will definitely want to stick around for that because it is the best segment of the show. These other clowns don't get it. You and I, the crowd, you get it. We do, they don't.
I like it. And he's right. Paul Heyman coming up next. But before that, another podcast to listen to for if you're a Carolina Panthers fan, stuff in your area, where to find us on social media, and the big question of the week. Next, Paul Heyman sits down with Darren Stone and goes one-on-one with the man himself.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, this is Donnie.
And I'm Anthony.
Hey, look, you want a place to go for all your cardiac cast info?
Then we got just a show for you.
This is the Donnie and Anthony Show.
And all Carolina Panthers podcasts. For all your Carolina Panthers info, the Donnie and Anthony Show, the DNA Show. Because of black and blue runs through our DNA.
Keep pounding.
Sunday, March 26th, Catawba Valley Community College, Hickory, North Carolina. AML Wrestling presents the Red Hawk Rumble. The top stars of AML will be there in addition to the AEW superstars, The Guns. Saturday, March 25th, West Davidson High School, Lexington, North Carolina. AML Wrestling presents Monsters Unleashed. Come see the top stars of AML Wrestling at this Special Olympics fundraiser. Saturday, March 25th, Chestnut Grove Middle School, King, North Carolina. Freestyle Championship Wrestling presents Wrestle War. Doors open at 6:30, bell time 7 o'clock. Sunday, March 19th, Southside Rec Center, High Point, North Carolina. Revolution Wrestling Authority presents Night of Champions 2023, a live television taping. Friday, March 3rd, Thomasville Middle School, Thomasville, North Carolina. It's the Chair City Clash 10. C.W. Anderson, Mad Max, Rob Boogie Woogie McBride, Big Money Incorporated, the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws, Lewis Moore and Matt Houston, and more. Saturday, February 25th, Benton Convention Center, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. AML Wrestling presents Rise to the Top in a scaffold match for the AML Wrestling Heavyweight title. White Mike defends against Brad Attitude. Also, the Beer City Bruiser faces Billy Brash. And a special appearance by WWE Hall of Famer Sergeant Slaughter. Friday, February 24th, AML Pro Wrestling Training Center, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Title match presents Ladies Night Out Triple Shot. NWA Women's Tag Team Champions Pretty Empowered, Ella Envy, and Kenzie Page, plus others in action. There's great wrestling action all across the region. You won't want to miss it. Be there! It's time for the Faction 919 Big Question. The big question: what wrestling manager through the course of their career has had the greatest impact on professional wrestling? Send your answers to faction919nc@gmail.com. We'll take a look at the answers and compare them to our own on our next show.
And some events in your area, another podcast to watch if you're Carolina Panthers fans. Where to find some social media, and our big question of the week. Now, reach out to us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok at Faction919, and answer us the big question of the week. Pretty much your favorite, or who had the most impact as a manager in the wrestling industry, in the history of wrestling. So, speaking of managers, I think a lot of us will agree, if he's not the best, he's one of the damn best. And guess what? He was right here on Faction 919. He went one-on-one with Mr.
I'm here every
Darren
week.
Stone,
What are you
man.
talking about?
So,
Okay. Yes, our illustrious guest. I got to sit down and speak with the man, the myth, the legend. It's a wonderful interview. It is probably going to be the best interview you have ever seen. And to be honest, I think you at home will shed a tear with how wonderful this interview is. I mean, Fannmann, roll it. Roll it now.
First of all, Mr. Heyman, thank you so much for taking time this morning to talk a little WWE and your life, etc.
Indeed.
Let's just kind of start from the beginning. When did you actually know you wanted to be in the pro wrestling / sports entertainment business?
First time I saw superstar Billy Graham being interviewed by Vincent Kennedy McMahon on WWE television. Just a larger than life person. And you know, he was a larger than life personality whose presence permeated through the television screen, and looked like an interesting way to make a living, to me at least. And you know, I figured, hey, I could do that, and then I decided to do it.
And you, if I read some stuff correctly, you actually started as like a photographer, correct?
Yes, I was a good bar mitzvah boy, and I used my money to invest wisely, and I bought an expensive camera and a photo lab that I put in my parents' basement, and I started not only taking pictures but developing my own pictures and cropping them and editing them, et cetera, et cetera. And so my foot in the door was as a teenage photographer, and I got to know all the personalities, and I got to know everybody inside the business. So it was just a natural for me. By the time I debuted when I was 21 years old, I already had several years experience in and around the inner workings of the industry. So I had a leg up on anyone else that was just breaking in.
You started primarily, you did a little bit in the Northeast, but your big, I don't know if you want to call it big debut or whatever, what was that with WCW / NWA as Paul Lee Dangerously?
One could make that argument, yes.
And then in 1993, you decided to kind of venture out on your own with what is now known as, it started out as Eastern Championship Wrestling, evolved into what we know today as, we'll just say ECF&W, Extreme Championship Wrestling. Talk about just how that got started and, you know, how successful it did become for a while.
Well, the industry needed a disruption, and I was the disruptor. It was, the industry at the time was way too cartoonish. The industry at the time was not appealing to the 18 to 34 male demographic, and nobody was really in touch with the culture anymore. It was a heavily music influenced generation, and no one really had their finger on the pulse in this business. And I was in an advantageous age group, being 27, 28 years old. And I did have a finger on the pulse. And most of the people who were of that age didn't have any experience in this industry. So their advice to those in power fell on deaf ears. But I had been around so long that I knew how to maneuver and implement a completely different concept of professional wrestling / sports entertainment and present it to the masses. And therefore, I became the disruptor of the industry. And I'm very proud to have been that, because boy, did it suck back then until we made a move to make it far more palatable to the public and to their appetite for a visceral product.
I mean, one could definitely say that a lot of the, as they're known, ECW originals have gone on since then. I mean, you're talking the Dudleys, Rob Van Dam, etc. They're WWE Hall of Famers now. I mean, how proud are you that you can say you had a big hand in that?
I'm proud of the WWE Hall of Fame for having the good taste of including inside of its Hall of Honors all these ECW originals, because it only elevates the status of the WWE Hall of Fame.
That was glorious. That was the best you have ever seen. But Paul, he's a wonderful guy. And all I'm going to say is that if you thought that was great, next week, part 2, the Electric Boogaloo. This time it's personal with Paul Heyman. We talk about acknowledging the tribal chief. We talk about wrestling. We talk about everything that is great in this industry. Watch it.
That is correct, Darren Stone. Thank you for doing that, Darren Stone. I tell you what, for some
That was
reason
a
I
great
like
interview.
you. For some reason I like you more this week, Darren Stone. I don't know what it is.
I've just decided to let my personality flow and just to embrace the dark side, the heel manager. That is what I am doing. Our me mateys. That guy's
Very good.
weird. We got to do something about him, guys.
Very good. But yes, week after next, we alternate weeks now. So not this Sunday, but next Sunday we'll be back. Paul Heyman again, part 2. You will see that interview. And in the meantime, in between time, don't forget, keep watching your wrestling, folks. And on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok at Faction919, the username. Follow us. And don't forget to answer our big question of the week this week. And I have a feeling the guy we sat down is going to be most of your answers. But hey, tell us one of your favorite managers who had the biggest impact. So on behalf of C. Rich, Fannmann, Surfer J, JB, that guy there, Darren Stone. Something about you this week. I love it. We will see you again, as always, on the All Things Wrestling podcast.